Today we're going to fit a bike rack, a Fiamma bike rack. So I don't know if you caught my last video about fitting the Fiamma ladder to the back of the Ducato, but same sort of thing again. You fit two rails, top and bottom of the door, and then fit the bike rack to it, drilling 6 holes in the door. That's kind of like bad enough, but you've got to remember, first of all, you've got to remove your door panel and all the cladding and everything else. And I've only just finished putting it on. So once I've kind of like removed the door handle, these, all the special bolts and all that kind of stuff, that'll leave it exposed so I can start drilling the holes. So just a few parts then. Ultimately it breaks down the same as the other. You've got the rails, the 2 vertical supports that sit on that, and then the framework of the bike. Now weirdly enough, these don't come with the rubber seals glued on, so that's something you have to do straight away, which is a bit of a pain. So let's see what they want us to do first. So the assembly of the actual bike carrier is first. So that's all the parts laid out now. So the first thing we need to do is actually assemble it all as a kit, and then you offer it up to the door, and on this model it clamps around the edge of the door. So the instructions are quite basic and there's a lot of assembly on this one, and you assemble it all and offer it up to the van and then drill 4 holes. So it's going to be a bit of a tricky one, but as you can see there, it's offering you a standard version and a lower version. So it depends on how high or low you want to load your bikes up on the back of the van. So again, another couple of pages full of IKEA instructions, and I'm pretty sure you don't want me to explain all the instructions. They are fairly straightforward, and at each point, like you can see where my little finger is there, each point they're telling you to use certain bolts. So we're obviously stepping along. Just be cautious of which way they're telling you to fit the nuts, because some of the pictures are actually wrong. So for example, when you attach this to this beam, the nut needs to be on the outside so that it doesn't foul with this support on the inside there. Don't tighten these up so much that this can't move. So those bolts need to be loose enough for that to move, enough that you can do that with it. So the next phase, we've stuck these down to there. I have no idea why they didn't come pre-stuck. This all makes no sense why there's so many pieces to it all and why they've not pre-assembled it. That's where we're at with that now. So we've got the cross support at the back, the 2 rails, and then the frame over the top. We've got the little clamps either side, and now what the instructions are asking us to do is to put these top and bottom. So assemble it all as if you're then putting it onto the van, and then obviously we're using these little things at the side to clamp it to the van door. These are supposed to stop that from scratching the van. You're supposed to put those in there like that, cut them to size so that they don't disguise the colour of your van, I guess. And yeah, that's not supposed to scratch the van. And then when it's on, you're then supposed to drill the 2 holes top and 2 holes bottom. The issue with that is it doesn't give you the opportunity to seal behind then. So yeah, this looks like you assemble it, clamp it on, drill the holes, take it off, seal behind the holes, clamp it back on, and then put the other bolts through and go through that way. So it's not as straightforward as the ladder was. The ladder was very straightforward in comparison. So yeah, we'll crack on with this one. So just to clarify, you put the rail down, you're clamping this to it, and we're using these retaining washers in the back to then bolt this to there, and centrally placing it as well. So kind of like as centrally as you can possibly get all this to kind of like match up. So measure your finger at that side, measure your finger that side, whatever, and just basically put it central, top and bottom, so that when you fit it to the door, it should still be fairly central. Obviously don't nip them up yet until it's on. At least that way then you can actually adjust it if you need to at that stage. So what it's telling us now is to open the back door, release the clips, put the paper in, these things to stop it supposedly scratching the back door, so put that over the paintwork, and you're then going to tighten that in using those bolts on the end to, as it's demonstrating there, to tighten and loosen it to get it all right. And then what they want you to do after that is drill through the holes. So I'm not convinced by their assembly instructions, certainly not for one person to be able to fit that now. That's just crazy. You're either going to end up scratching the door or things are going to go horribly wrong. So I am going to dismount the frame off the top runner, and then the top runner there I'm going to take off and I'm going to put it on, because it can only go there. That's the only place it can go. So I'm going to put the top runner on there, and I'm then going to see where that hangs with the rest of it. So yeah, this is my little hack, if you like, to assembling this, especially if you're assembling it on your own, is to take the top rail off, like I've done there, leave the bottom rail on, take the top rail off, fit this first, because it really can only go one place, especially now the ladders are there. So fit this first, which allows you to drill the holes and seal them afterwards, stuff like that. Clamp it around there. You can get this tape that they give you, the stickers, so you can you know, make sure your paintwork doesn't get scratched. So I'm going to do that first. Once I've done that, then we'll hang the rack off it, and then we'll find out where the bottom rail goes and get that one fitted. So it's probably a bit difficult to see, but I've stuck my sticky tape over the ends there, so when it clamps round it won't scratch the paint. And I've done the same that way as well. So when I clamp around there it won't scratch the paint, because obviously once you drill in there and there, that's going to be the main support. This is just to align it first off. Strange the way they've done it. I'm pretty sure I could have designed it a lot better than this. Pretty much the way the ladder was designed, that was rails fitted first, so I don't know. I'll work it out anyway. Let's crack on. Right, okay, so we fitted the top bar permanently on now, drilled, screwed, bolted on, ends tightened up, everything, that's all done. So what we need to do now is offer that up to there, and then we can work out where the next bar is going to come to, and drill the holes accordingly in the door again. So a bit more convoluted with this one. Like I say, it's been a bit of a pain actually, in all fairness. Ladder was far easier. I don't understand why that didn't come pre-built already. It's just a stupid way of saving a tiny bit on shipping maybe, I don't know. But yeah, let's get that up on there and get the rest of it all worked out. So as right now, obviously as I'm fitting it, I'm basically just putting two of the bolts through the brackets at the top there, just to get it aligned so that I can then see where the bottom bracket needs to be fixed, and also to you know, get the holes drilled and seal the holes and that kind of stuff. So you know me, when things don't go to plan, I'm open and honest about it. So what we have got right now is a couple little problems. First of all, that just is too high, and that can't be any lower. I mean, if you're carrying your bikes up there, how the hell are you going to lift them to get them up that far? That's just crazy. Probably need to move that over a bit, just so it's more central that way, and then we can put that support on properly. I can then undo those two, so it allows me to take it off when I drill it, so I can seal the holes behind, and then fit it back again. So yeah, bit of tweaking, but at least we're getting there. And it's just bad that these things aren't explained in the instructions at all, so you've got to kind of work it out yourself, and you could make some bad decisions by the fact they don't explain it. So there we go, bottom rail's now on, this is bolted to it. All I'm going to do now is tighten these end caps up so they pinch in around the door. Obviously I put the sticker over, just can't really see the sticker because it's clear, and once that's tight as possible, put that on nice and tight. Go around, check all the bolts are nice and tight, if it all works okay, and then there's some caps to put over here when we're done. There's some extra little bits to fit on the actual bike rack as well, so we'll do that once we've actually finished off the framework. So that's it, pretty much done now. However, I do think that's wrong. I know that's giving maximum protection to the back windows, but that's just going to be so much more difficult to put bikes on there at that height, especially if you get e-bikes or something like that. So yeah, as much as it's probably a really big pain for me to do it right now, I'm actually going to swap that mount there and that mount there to down there, because it's still going to clear the number plate and I'm not going to have any other issues, and it will mean that no one can get onto the bottom of there, and the window is still protected by the frame of the bike rack anyway. So yeah, I'm going to do that. So those 2 bolts down there, that should allow me to move this, do that, do that. So come back in 10 minutes, it'll be right. There we go. Back door panel back on, nice and secure. Handle on and everything. And then bike rack finished. There we go. So there's some fittings that go there and there, 2 straps that actually, you know, tie down the top of the bikes, handlebars and stuff like that. However, I don't want to leave them on because they could be stolen while we're out and about, and as we have no bike on yet, it's easier for someone to mess around with that kind of thing. So yeah, all the clips and everything like that are on, the feet and everything else, so everything is nice and secure. Like I say, these are all kind of standard fittings, and I've now dropped it as well, so this is much easier height to get the bikes on and off. And yeah, I don't know, when it was up there, that was just a crazy height. And also when you push it up, nice and secure, fits into place and finishes the van off nicely, I think, having the bike rack and the ladder there. So it's all nicely finished off, and like I say, the added bonus of the ladder to get on the roof is the security for the window on that side, and the added bonus on that side for window security again of the bike rack. So the bike rack now covers the window, all done. So the next thing I need to do is put the roof rack on. Again, I've got a Fiamma roof rack, so that'll go with my Fiamma awning, because it's kind of using the same fittings, so I need to make sure that they're compatible. So yeah, that'll be on the next video.